bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with 𝙒𝙗𝙚𝙘 Media Network.
The following program is produced by 𝙒𝙗𝙚 Media Network. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individuals appearing on the show and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 𝙒𝙗𝙚 Media Network, its affiliates, sponsors, or partners. The content provided in this program is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. 𝙒𝙗𝙚 Media Network does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or timeliness of the information.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Texas. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. And good evening, Philippines and all parts of the world. You have a different time zone. But hello to everyone. We are now live on Facebook for today's lesson, Educators Empowering Stories. And today's episode will center around a very hot topic, which is cell phone use in the classroom, challenges and opportunities. So that is our topic for today. And also we have a guest parent from a parent perspective on the topic. And MJ Concepcion will join me in this live broadcast this morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning po, Teacher Luz. It's a pleasure to be in your show today.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, especially I'm here joining you on this live broadcast. Yes, good morning to all our viewers, and thank you po for supporting our teachers here in Texas and our show, today's lessons. So how about you? How are you, Tita Luz? Can I call you just Tita na lang, or it
Yes.
Teacher Luz na lang?
Teacher Luz is fine. We're
Mhm.
doing great, and I'm enjoying my retirement days. You know, I've retired May 31st and just barely 3 weeks after. So I'm really taking my time and having a blast on the days off. I can wake up or later in the morning instead of 5:30. I can wake up at 7:30 and do some chores here. So I am doing great.
Wow, it must be nice. It must be nice to be retired. Well,
Yeah.
I'm quite far from it, but anyway, to all the viewers out there, as Teacher Luz has said, you are watching us live on Facebook, also on YouTube, stream.lawin.live, and twitch.tv. Yes, you're watching us in a lot of different platforms. So also, if they miss the live show, I think you can listen to the podcast. We are on Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast, Podchaser. I mean, a lot of other podcast platforms out there. But this morning, I'm really happy to be here, Teacher Luz, because the topic that you have today is really very important and relevant, especially, for me as a parent. So I'm quite really privileged to be here so I can share my thoughts, my views, and about this hot topic. I bet it's a hot topic out there. So, yeah, can you give us like a little background how this came about? Like
Yes.
the laws and everything about the cell phone usage in schools?
Yes. As you know, The research shows that 97% of our students are now using cell phones at least 43 minutes in a day, at least. So that's alarming in class. So now there are laws that govern how this came about, like permitting the students to use cell phones in school. So
Mhm.
there was the California Assembly Bill 3216 introduced in February of 20, I don't know the date, but it was introduced in the month of February, that would require school districts to adopt a policy to limit or prohibit student use of smartphones while at school or under the supervision of a school employee. The
Mhm.
law would go into effect, and the measure has the support of governors and all the district state representatives. However, since technology is now the trend globally, we
Mhm.
cannot help but use cell phones everywhere. Nobody in anywhere does not have a cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone, and that includes students as well. Even kindergarten students, the parents allow it. It's a parent choice. The parents
Yes.
allow their students to bring cell phones to school or use cell phones anywhere, and we will discuss that at length later on from
Mhm.
your perspective as a parent and from my perspective as a teacher.
Yeah, the data that you just said are really quite alarming. I mean, it's like 97%. Wow. And it's even like the effect of, remember, you like when you watch something or a video on YouTube or Facebook, they say if you watch it more than 3 seconds or something, or at least a certain amount of time, it captures your attention. So
Mhm.
no wonder this cell phone has created some kind of addictive behavior for kids, because when wherever they are, I mean, they're on their cell phone. So
Yes.
yeah, and I remember when I was in school, I mean, of course, I didn't have cell phone till I was actually even married, or even when just when we came to the United States. So I was like in my 30s when I had my own mobile phone or cell phone. And in school, of course, we didn't have the digital. It wasn't digital age back then, but
Yeah.
we learned better. I mean, we learned better.
We survived because we focused on the teacher instead of the gadget.
Mhm. So that is really quite alarming, because the focus of the students, as you said, their attention has span probably and been limited. And the thing with that is now kids, because of this digital age, the cell phone kind of gives instant gratification, right?
Yes, correct. You are right on that. And
Yeah.
in Texas, there is an Education Code 37.082. The
Mhm.
Board of Trustees of a school district may adopt a policy prohibiting a student from possessing a paging device while on school property or while attending a school sponsored or school related activity on and off school property. This is because the distraction caused by cell phone usage is quite alarming already. From a teacher's perspective, I myself, personally, I don't encourage the use of cell phones in my class while I'm conducting the lessons. And
Mhm.
you know why? They will be focusing on the usage. And who knows what they're doing back there while
Mhm.
I'm lecturing in front and looking at their cell phones, pretending, not to everyone, but probably some of them pretending to participate in my lesson and researching. But
Mhm.
who knows? They might be doing Fortnite or they
Mhm.
might be doing Roblox,
Games.
games, and all that. And the
Yeah.
problematic thing is they might be looking at something they should not look at.
Wow. I mean, wow. I'm like, just now I realize really how the gravity of this in our kids' lives. I mean, I have a daughter. She's going to be a senior. And I remember, even like, I think when she was in elementary school, or when my kids, because I have adult boys now, the
Mhm.
schools used to provide like their gadget, like their device for students to use. Like they had like tablets, I think, that they provided, and there are computers at school. So why don't they go back in that system where they
No.
actually use the school's devices for the students to look up or research, or and
Mm-hmm.
not their own device, because it seems like allowing them to bring their own device has actually done more harm than good.
Correct.
Yeah.
And even the National Center for Education Statistics nationally, 77% of schools say they prohibit cell phones at school for non academic use, which is good because you know what will happen if every student, let's say half of the class, will bring a cell phone to the classroom. The teacher will have no more power because they will be looking at their cell phones, they will be distracted, and even if the teacher is talking, guess what, their attention is half and half, one ear to the teacher and another ear to the cell phone.
Yeah. And so, Tita Luz, I mean Teacher Luz, sorry. Teacher Luz, I'm just curious. Maybe there are studies out there that shows maybe the effect of these mobile or cell phones in the students' grades. Are there studies out there that would show that the learning has been like decreasing because of the permission of some schools or of these devices?
I mean, there might be numerous studies about the decrease, and in fact, probably some psychologists have already had studies about this. But so far,
Mhm.
for myself, uh, I believe personally, it
Mhm.
depends on what usage the cell phone give to the student.
Mhm.
Like I told you personally, I would not encourage the use of cell phones in my class. For one, I am responsible for providing the academic materials to my students. I will not hold the burden to the student to look for materials for himself or
Mhm.
for herself by using a cell phone. And in fact, we have laptops at school
Mhm.
that are app controlled by
Mhm.
the technology administrators. They
Mhm.
put the apps on the tablet or the devices so that access for students is limited to only the apps that are academic and educational. So I'd rather use those. And in fact, we are provided, each student is provided one on one in Texas.
Mhm.
I don't know if all the districts are having a one on one usage for each student, but in most parts of Texas, one student to one tablet or laptop, and that's good enough. We don't need a cell phone for all the academic usage in class. I should be, as a teacher, responsible for providing all the academic materials to my students. And if I encourage research, there is another gadget to use,
Mhm.
school provided, and not a cell phone. Of course, parents will say this is for safety issue. I want my child to call me during emergencies. But guess what? That is not the responsibility of your child.
Mhm.
Nurse's responsibility to call the attention of the parent in case there is a medical emergency. That's why we have information file at the nurse's office. And even the teacher, before the teacher calls the parent, it's the nurse's job first.
Yeah, and there are notification systems also if something happens, like there's a fire or there's a emergency urgent things that happen in schools. There's this notification system by the school that automatically lets the parents know. So you're right, they don't even need their cell phone for them to actually notify us if something is wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
so it seems like in the perspective of a teacher too, is it because also some teachers, because I'm not saying all, but I think some teachers are very lenient because they, as you said, they transfer the responsibility to the student to even look up for resources, right?
Especially in high school, middle school, and high school, most of the problems about cell phone usage emanate from high school and middle school, not probably so much with elementary, although there are elementary students who perennially bring cell phones to school because the parents want them to bring the cell phones to school. Like I said, they will claim as a matter of safety. They wanted their child to call them immediately when something happens and all that. But like I said, the school is responsible to notify the parent in case there is something going on with the child, whether it's a medical issue, it's a behavior issue. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the child to call the parent first. It's the nurse's job. And then the teacher will be called in to corroborate the nurse's report. But
Yes.
no principal as well. But
Yeah.
it's mainly the nurse first and then administrator or teacher.
Opo. Yeah, I think it's already 9:16, so we should be going
Yes,
on a break.
that's a very good topic. We
Yeah.
but we'll pause for a break, and when we come back, we will continue to be tuned in. Continue to tune in, and thank you so much for the viewers. We'll be right back. We're back.
Yes, we are. It went by so fast. Look, that's the first segment, but I think we have a comment
Okay,
from, yeah, you want to read the comment, Paul?
let's see what the comment says. Jewel Bakani watching from PH, Philippines. And she also said complete prohibition of cell phones here in the Philippine schools. Now,
That's great.
Miss MJ, what do you think about her comment of complete prohibition or banning the cell phones in the Philippines?
Well, up for that. I mean, as a parent, I think that is good. And the school systems in different countries, they say, I'm not saying the United States school system is bad or something like that, but I believe that if we have stricter rules and we actually have a system that is more for learning, it's good. It's everything is good for the students as
Mm,
long as it's
yes,
for their benefit. I'm up for that. The
yeah,
United States should do that too, and so we can encourage our students to actually do the right thing, like be a student. Because with the cell phone, it's like you're in school, you're not supposed to be on your gadget while
mm,
you are in the classroom. You have to focus on what you're learning. You have to focus on your teacher, listen, interact. Because with these gadgets too, people tend to not even interact with others anymore because they are just in their mobile, which entertain them, yes, give them instant gratification, but it's not growth. It's not growth for the students. So I believe, for me personally as a parent, because I also have a student, and that would even help in the household, the control. Because if they are on their cell phone all day, you could imagine how that make them feel. It make them like just want to be on it. But if the schools control it, at least in the homes too, it will be easier. I know it's my responsibility as a parent to actually set the rules and everything, but it's kind of hard too because they're in school most of the day.
Correct.
Right? So whatever they're building, the habits that they're building, because these are like encouraged in outside from the home, it's hard to
Mhm.
kind of control when you are in the home. But I remember when my kids were younger, because they had like friends that had cell phones young, and we tried to wait it out a little bit. Actually, my boys, I think they didn't have cell phone there till they're in high school, and my daughter until she finished middle school. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I see a lot of kids, unfortunately, oh my gosh, young as you're right, even elementary kids, oh, they have cell phones. I'm like, why? I mean, it's like, why would parents allow them? Well, I'm not saying those parents are not doing the right thing for their kids, but we just have to be really the one to set the rules and make sure that whatever we allow our kids to have or to do, it's for their own good. I know it's hard with the
Right.
current, yes, with technology now, it's kind of hard, but we can do it. I mean, we are the parents. They should listen to us. And you are the teacher, so they should listen to you. Right, Po?
I think it's a global issue. Can
Mm-hmm.
you imagine the peer pressure in the Philippines if your friends are having cell phones and then you don't? You will have to pressure your parents to buy you one so you could go with the flow and be trendy. But as you know, the Philippines is a third world country.
Mm-hmm.
Before parents could even buy a cell phone, of course, they would rather buy food on the table and provide for their kids the bare necessities rather than using a cell phone. But you know how these kids are. They
Mm-hmm.
always want to be in the trend and they always want to be whatever others have, they wanted to have it. But sad to say, these are not conducive for learning according to my personal perspective. It's just me. I don't know about other teachers, but personally, if they ask my opinion, I would discourage classroom use of cell phones. Blanket. I would not allow cell phone use in my class for no reason because parents would claim it's a safety issue. I want my kid to call me for whatever reason. It's the school's job, not your child's job, because they may say, "Oh, pick me up from school. I'm having a stomach ache," or all that. That is the nurse's job. It's not the job of your child to call you and say pick up from school. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Opo, and you know what? It's not just from your own perspective, no, that it's actually detrimental to students' learning, but it's proven. I mean, there are studies out there, and even us as adults, when you are, as I've said earlier, when you are watching a video or something, it captures your mind, it wires your brain
yes,
on
program.
that. It's like it seems like these kids, especially their brains are still young. They're like a sponge. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever they're focusing into, if say the video, the cell phone and all that, it creates that wiring in their brain that they're gonna be looking for it. They're gonna be wanting it. So it's very dangerous because it wires them to be somebody else. And then like with social media, there's this influence because of they see so much about social media. Sometimes they only show the good side of them, and then these kids now develop this type of, they say, imposter syndrome, or they want to become someone that they are not.
And
And that's very scary. So it's not just affecting the children with their learning, but it's affecting their personality. It's affecting what they want in life. They're trying to be someone that they are not because of the influence, and because of this cell phone. This is what's happening, right?
yes,
Opo.
remember the cyberbullying issues? It
Mm-hmm.
happens because of these gadgets. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was part of a church study. I translated the English pamphlets to Tagalog from a church study from St. Lawrence in Sugarland. They had a study about cell phone usage in families,
Mm-hmm.
especially the children. They even cited during dinner, everybody is looking at the cell phone, everyone is busy doing other things on the cell phone. They forget that dinner time is bonding time socially with the family. Put down
Mm-hmm.
the cell phones and interact with the family, mom, dad, and your siblings. And that's the perfect time for looking at how your day went and
Mm-hmm.
interact with family. But look, the scenario we see every day is like everyone is holding the cell phone, and then even their spoon, the food and the spoon, they cannot even put their spoon in their mouth because their attention is on the cell phone. They can't even focus on eating.
Yeah, and even at restaurants. Well, sometimes I'm guilty of that. I'm not saying that I'm not doing it, but sometimes. But for the most part, I promise you, when we eat out, we tell our kids, take your cell phone away. So while
Yes.
eating, we're talking and we're conversing, and we're as you said, it's very important. Those moments are times for us to actually connect, because you're right, we're so scattered in our days. Like, of course, your kids are in school, we have jobs, we're at work. So when we come together, that's the time that we just want to touch base on what happened in
Mhm.
our day and all that. And even on dinner time. So we try to do that. Like, my daughter, you know how teenagers, it's not their fault too, because at that stage of their life, we all know about growth and development, right? At
Yes.
that stage of their life, peer pressure, and it's just their hormones are changing, especially like girls, they're growing up and all
Mhm.
that. There's like a lot of influences out there aside from those physiological changes in their body. It's like there's too many challenges
Mhm.
that are actually happening, that are affecting our kids, our teenagers. And it's like what cell phone and social media, it's just one of those things that are actually having a quite alarming effect on them. And although digital age is beneficial at some point, which we're going to discuss right later in another, in the next segment, that there are pros and cons. Yes, there are, but still there should be a control. Anything that is not used properly and responsibly, there are detrimental effects.
Yes.
So yes, opo.
But don't get me wrong. I don't want to be misconstrued. I'm only discouraging the use of cell phones in schools, in the classroom. However, these cell phones will be very effective and very beneficial to children outside of the school, especially when they are going to contact their parents. And it's a safety issue as well. You can call 911 or you
Mhm,
could call your parents when you are in danger, but
mhm,
danger is very minimal. Of course, we're not talking about the gunning and all that. Very minimal when it comes to school environment. We
mhm.
are protecting the children in our schools for the most part, and cell phone use is not really encouraged as part of a safety issue for them
Mhm.
outside of the school environment where they are going to friends' houses or whatever they do outside of school. Yes, we encourage to have them have a cell phone for their protection and safety. But I'm talking about the school environment.
Yes, absolutely po. There's one comment here from Orly Deason. So if you want to read, and then we'll go on a break after you read the comment po.
Okay, from attorney Early Dizon, Michelle Carter was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for encouraging the suicide of her then boyfriend Conrad Roy via cell phone. They are high school students. Oh, wow.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that is mind-boggling, mind-blowing. I mean, it's like, it's, as we have said, everything that you use beyond, okay, that we over
Mm.
do, everything that we overdo, there are really like unbelievable, I mean, effects. And this is one of I mean, it's sad that because of the cell phone, right? And then I remember also, but I think we're gonna go on a break for now, and we'll read the next comment when we come back.
Uh, be tuned in. We will be right back, and don't go away. We have lots of discussions to follow. We'll be right back.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories, from elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits. I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create magic together.
Long Weekly News.
Tune in live Sundays 8 a.m. Central Standard Time and Sundays 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Long Weekly News.
All right, we're back. Yeah, as I was saying, where were we? I think we have another comment, Paul, from Attorney Early again.
All right. There is another comment from attorney Orly Dizon. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, did not allow his kids to have cell phones until they graduate high school. Oh, wow. See that? Even the founder, Steve Jobs.
Well, the thing is, they make Apple or cell phones, really good. That it entices the whole world. You know how
Oh,
people
yeah.
are like, whenever they've been creating these different versions, and like every year pretty much, and people, even if they still have new cell phones, they want to upgrade. I'm like, wow. I know it's ironical. He creates the best cell phones. I'm
And yet he did not
I'm
allow
not
his
saying
kids.
that Samsung is not good, but yeah, for the most part, because Apple gadgets are very user friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and every year that Apple introduces a new version, see the line in the mall. Oh my
that's
God.
right.
Cannot
And then people go there, they make reservations and all that, even if it hasn't come out yet, they're already in like in T-Mobile or AT&T.
And
Yeah.
some even put lawn chairs and sit there for days just to get the new version of that Apple cell
Oh,
phone.
iPhone, I know. But as we were saying, I mean, that was so sad about that suicide, and it's because of a cell phone. And
Yeah.
also the thing, what's so bad, like there are schools that whenever there's like a fight in schools, these students even like take videos,
Mhm.
right? And
And
then
post them.
yeah, and so they're creating a bad image for their school, and they like post in social media. I mean, so what's the point of allowing the students to have a cell phone in school? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, it's really hard, teacher Luz, because I mean,
Yeah.
as a parent, as I said, I know it's hard because even within the home where we only control our kids, like for those who have kids, you may have just one kid, three, four, five, let alone in schools, in schools where you have like hundreds and some
So,
thousands of
uh,
students. But for me, it's easier to implement something because it's a school system. They should follow, or else they should be kicked out or disciplined. There should be like you can do disciplinary actions, which parents can do too. We can do too with our kids, but it's just different because as parents, sometimes you don't want to offend your kid, or you don't want your kid to feel left behind by these, by their peers or things like those. So sometimes we get carried away, but I think instilling that discipline within them will give them, will bring them a long way in life. And
Correct.
even just with control with the cell phone is a good start. Because if they can, I promise you, if they can actually control themselves with this beautiful gadget, which is very enticing and flashy and all that, then in life they'll go far. They'll go far.
Hmm. I'm not a high school teacher, but I have a lot of high school teacher friends who had this trouble all the time, problem with the students, like a contest of wills. The teacher would want to get the cell phones from them, and yet the students would refuse. And here I have a question from one of the viewers. Is it illegal for a teacher to take your phone in Texas? Okay. Texas law allows schools to take your phone if they have a reasonable suspicion that you're using it in a way that disrupts the class and violates the school and district rules. Think about you're having a blast there at the back doing Fortnite and Roblox and all that while the teacher is conducting a discussion lesson. So the teacher has the right to take it away. However, she cannot physically grab it from your hand if you refuse to give it. But of course, you'll have consequence for not voluntarily surrendering your phone, and you have consequences. The school has policies for refusal of students to listen and follow the school rules.
Yeah, well, for me, for teacher Luz, it's better for me in classrooms. No cell phones. Everybody. It's not like, because if some students are allowed or if they can take their cell phones out, there should just be uniform rule. When they start the class, all cell phones are away from them.
Yes. And remember, during start testing, everyone in the state of Texas will have no phone in their possession.
Mhm.
Every student will have to turn in their phone. That's no different from when you are every day in class. You have to turn in your phone to the teacher, but it's very tiring for the teacher to always get the phone every morning, document who owns it, what kind the phone is, then put it in the closet, put it in cabinets, and then return it on the day. At the end of the day, that's additional teacher job. Whereas the parent can have the controlling uh, measure at home. Do not bring your cell phone in your backpack. Leave it at home. If you have emergencies, the school is responsible for you. Okay, and the nurse will get my attention if you need some medical attention that parents will be needed in school. And then when you are home, just resume your use, but on a regulated basis. Anything excessive is detrimental. And we remember when we were growing up in the Philippines, we have interactions with other children. We play tag, we play
Mhm.
dare base, and all that. It
Yeah.
makes bodies healthier. We are in the sunshine. We are outside playing in parks and streets and everywhere. Not like today. Children get obese because
Oh, yes.
exercise in the open field and in the open sun. They sit there on the couches and cell phone all day. They have no physical activities.
Mhm.
Their mind works, but who knows what they're looking at cell phones, especially when parents are working, the children
Yes.
are left at home, they have no parental control over their gadgets. And like
Yeah.
Bernard Dizon had said, this is a cause for cyberbullying sometimes.
Yeah, it's very scary, boy, to be honest. Um Now my daughter, she's gonna be senior. I know we let her use her cell phone, but the good thing about her is she's not a typical student who just goes to school, comes home, and all that. So she's very busy, and she has, she's a dancer and all, and she's in musicals. So we give her a little bit of a leeway because we know that she's busy, and that's her part of just unwinding and trying to relax and all. But also at the same time, I mean, her grades are great. So it's like it depends too on the student. There are
Yes.
students that that
Motivation.
yes,
Yes.
you have to have, other than having the rules, I mean, they have to show, there should be a tangible, you know, proof that they're not doing bad in school, and that they actually, the grade is one, their
Mhm.
grades. So it depends. So with the parents out there, I mean, as a parent, I mean, as I said, we are a little bit lenient because she's not a typical student who just goes to school and then goes home, and she does
Mhm.
a lot of other things for herself, for her growth. So she's growing in a lot of other aspects in her life, so it's not
Mhm.
just the cell phone. So but still we try to control her, we like, and she listens. But as at times, for the most part, you know how social media, I'm glad that this TikTok will be gone. I heard like TikTok will be gone by, I heard by next year or January or something.
This
Yeah,
is the crazy
because
trend of the.
it's crazy, because not just students. I mean, I see a lot of people out there, that even like old people and people of my age who are doing TikTok. I do that too sometimes, but I don't do it much. And I know this social media had actually created wealth for a lot of people, you
Yeah.
know, and it's been beneficial for some. But I think, as you said, excessive, anything that we do in, I mean, excessive way is not good. And we have another question, I think, from a comment from attorney Eileen Ligot Dizon.
All right. Attorney Eileen Ligot, this is an interesting topic. How do you think Texas schools can balance the benefits of cell phones for learning with the need to keep students focused? Okay. So, how do you think Texas can balance? I believe this is a district based and campus based issue,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the demographics of their students and the trend at school.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that although there are district policies governing all the campuses, it's also a campus based decision of the administration and per class by teacher. Let's say one teacher has 22 students and 20 of them are bringing cell phones every day
Mm-hmm.
and they are not performing well in their state test academics, and they are not focusing in class, and they are having some issues in the classroom. So the teacher has the right to ban the cell phone in class
Mm-hmm.
according to Texas policies.
Mm-hmm.
However, once the student holds the phone in the hand, the teacher cannot physically grab the cell phone from the student's hand. It has to be a a voluntary action, and two, a consequence is given for refusing to surrender that phone. And of course, the parent will be contacted. There will be consequences. There will be parent meetings and all that to show that that is a distraction in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm up for that. And as I said, once the class starts, the students should not be allowed. I mean, it's for all, regardless whether you're a good or high performing student, or you're a
Mhm.
student who doesn't, regardless of what kind of student you are, they shouldn't be allowed. Once the class starts, no cell phone.
Yes, and in fact, maybe the good student is a good student because she is not focusing her time and focusing her energy on the use of cell phones. That's why she becomes a good student.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's an offshoot, a result of not distracting herself or himself from cell phone usage and gadget use, and she can focus well on her academics. That's why she becomes a high performing student.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when Mara was in middle school, she had a friend actually that really and truly didn't have a cell phone. I mean, and I applaud those parents that can
Mhm.
actually set that and like just don't have to allow their kids. And it's up for to us too, because if we if we buy them the gadget, then that means we're allowing them, we're giving them permission, right? and they can
Mhm.
buy it. If they don't have the means to buy it, then they don't have it. So I just hope that, we parents will actually be more strict too,
Mhm.
because it's for their own good. I know that sometimes it's like, oh, I just want my child or my daughter, my son to be not out, not not left behind or things like those. But no, it's we have to weigh the benefits, the
Yeah.
pros and cons.
Mhm.
What's good for them? I think it's already 9:46 again, and we're
Yes,
going towards the
time
last
first in our
segment.
discussion, we
I
forget the
don't
time.
care. We have
Pause for another break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up our interesting discussion, and that will be right back.
we're
We are
back.
back. So we
Yes.
will be continuing on with Alin Dison's question. And in fact, there are some suggestions here how to keep students off their cell phones in class. One suggestion was provide a cell phone agreement with parents. That's
Mhm.
actually it's part of the school contract about cell phone usage. Set the expectations and let the parents be aware that my classroom rules and regulations include this and that about cell phone usage. I do not allow cell phone use in the classroom for any reason, and let the parents be aware and sign that contract so that they will not be surprised for consequences later on. Keep the students engaged. They won't have time for any cell phone use if they have no downtime. Keep
Mhm.
them engaged, keep them interested, and use it as only a substitute when they are not in class anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that. Kaya nga po I said earlier, I mean, once the class starts, I've been repeating myself. I feel like I'm talking, but once the class starts, no cell phone, please. And I'm up for that. If we had to get a contract or sign an agreement, I'm all up for that. Whose
Yeah.
parent wouldn't agree, right? So
Mhm.
for me, those are really great suggestions. Those are really great suggestions. And I think we have a question from Attorney Eileen.
Okay,
Yeah, let's
let's
see.
get her question. From Attorney Deason, have you ever had a problem with students secretly recording you and their classmates in the classroom? How did you handle it, or how do you handle it now? Personally, I haven't had this issue because, like I said, I was an elementary school teacher, first grade. It's only been 5 years that I am a school campus leader with no classroom. So before, during the early 2000, I had students in my class, and not in my classroom, but other teachers who had students in their classrooms with a cell phone in their backpack, and the audio is was open, which means there was a reason for the parents to open that audio to record the teachers to see what they were doing. However, we are discouraging those types of recording because, like I said, it's not for students to record the teachers what they do in class. They are responsible, the teachers are responsible for class management and all that. If the parents have problems with the teacher, go to the school and discuss it with them. not secretly recording and then using it for purposes other than discussing with the teacher. That's not good.
Yeah, and there's it's also violation. There's HIPAA, not just in the hospitals and all that. I mean, you're not supposed to record anybody, even if you go to a place, say for example, like in the restaurants, and you're doing a broadcast or something like that. You have to have a waiver or permission from your audience or from the people there. Yeah, so that's absolutely not allowed.
Yes, and if parents have problems of trust with the teacher, discuss with the teacher, or if you don't trust the teacher, go to a different class that you think you will trust instead of doing some illicit things like that, and then you are having some discussions with the teacher and then showing that you recorded something that is not allowed.
Mhm. Opo. And so, wow, it's been what? Wow, we're almost done, and it's been very very interesting talaga for our viewers. And again, for those who have not yet sent your questions or comments, feel free to comment. It's been a very interesting topic, and we appreciate our teachers for taking their time. Teacher Luz, for taking your time to really share your wealth of wisdom. Having been a teacher, how many years were you a teacher? But
In Texas, it's 23.
mm-hmm.
Then in the Philippines, you add 10 more.
Wow, that's good. So you have all the wisdom that we can learn from, and then you teachers are truly, truly silent heroes. Because without you, there would be nobody who's a professional, right?
Said
Yes.
that teacher
Yeah.
is the mother of all profession.
Mhm.
Without the teacher, no profession will come up or will thrive because every profession has a teacher.
That's right. That's right. And it's hard. I know this topic what that we had this morning is a bit of a challenge. It's really a challenge because of digital age. Of course, you we technology is always going to advance. And
Yes, no
yeah,
matter what.
and being in a digital age, we go with technology, but we have to be always mindful of the effects of these advancements in technology.
Uh, because
To,
if we have to advance as a country in general, we
mhm,
have to go with the trend of global technology.
mhm,
However, global technology has its place for everything. It
mhm,
has to be in the put in the proper perspective
mhm.
and reasonable use. Like you said, excessive use of something is detrimental.
Yeah, anything. So, yeah, like food, excessive eating. So, and then excessive use of cell phone. I mean, we're feeding our minds, and our minds are like we have a lot, they're composed of neurons and all that, and depending on how or what we feed our minds, we have to feed our minds with good things, with good thoughts, with good influences. I know technology helps us also learn and all those, but we still have our minds to use. We don't depend on technology. We grow our brains, we continue to become smarter and better by feeding ourselves with reading, right? Reading, having the right hobbies and all that, and having the right exercises for our minds, but not just with the cell phone. The cell phone, I know, gives us like immediate gratification because if you're looking for something, it's like so easy. Just
Yes,
pull it, right?
yes. Nowadays,
Yeah.
and less people use the dictionary, less and less people read books for leisure reading, no more. And the World Wide Web, who knows, it's a field of openness. You can
Yes.
anything and everything from the World Wide Web. And some of this information from the web is very, very harmful for students,
Mm-hmm.
for youth, for the children,
Yeah.
especially when you're not of legal age yet, age 18 and above. Yes, you are responsible for yourselves. However, if you are not of legal age yet and the World Wide Web is an open field for anything, Anything and everything can be accessed nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's very scary. So as a parent, let's do our best. I know it's not easy. As I said, it's a challenge because it's the trend, and it's like we are influenced so much by the trend. But I
Mm,
think we still have the right, especially if our kids still live under our roof, right? If they were still under our care,
your roof.
so yeah, we still pay for their clothes, for their food and everything. I know once they, you know,
Go
support
out. Go.
themselves, we cannot do so much, but as long as they're still within our care, we have all the right to set the rules, to set the boundaries, to guide them. And
Yes,
even
that's the parents' role.
to guide them, that's our role as parents, because whose parent wouldn't want their kids to be successful, to be self-sufficient?
Yes, academically, yes, as well.
Yes. So it's our goal as parents to again set the rules, and with our teachers too. And
Yeah,
yeah, and by the way, Alfie out there, I know you're regular co-host or host or regular host of this
yeah,
show. Alfie is having his test. Is that right, Tita
yeah.
Luz or Teacher
Same
Luz?
for
Uh,
his certification, and I believe one certification. I just can't remember what it was, but she is out there taking a state test for the state of Texas for him to get certified in something. Good luck to you, Alfie. And
yes.
to my other co-teachers out there, to my fellow teachers, let's advocate for our students' successful academic lives. And one of them, I believe it's on my own personal opinion, refrain students' usage of cell phones inside the classroom. That's my advocacy. If I was still in the classroom right now, if I'm still in the classroom, I will ban. Parents will probably not agree with me, not all parents, but my personal opinion. I do not need a cell phone use for my students in the elementary level, first grade, to use a cell phone during class time.
Yes, and as a parent, again, let's do our best to guide our kids, our children, because discipline starts from home.
Correct.
Discipline starts from home. And wouldn't you love to say, I mean, to hear from like your friends or from the teachers that, wow, your student is so good. I
Mm,
mean, that is a reflection. It's a reflection of how we discipline our kids inside the home. So
correct.
try our best to actually have them, yeah, they have a choice, they have options. I know we always say that parents should give their, yes, that's true, because they have to develop their own way of advocating for themselves and all that, but still it's our role as parents to do what's best for them. And I
Correct.
believe that cell phones, they're not good for them, especially when they're in the classroom.
Yes, they can use it outside of class or regulated at home. Give them social interaction with friends. That's their way of communicating. However, parents set the boundaries for them, how much time they could spend on the cell phone
Mhm.
and when and where they could use it.
Yes, that's right. Wow, it's been a very good morning, and it's been a very interesting topic. And thank you so much, Teacher Luz, for giving me the opportunity to be your guest today. I've learned so much, and I really support you in your advocacy for no cell phone in
In the
the
classroom.
classroom.
The pleasure and the honor is mine, Miss MJ Concepcion, and thank you so much for gracing this podcast this morning with your insightful parent opinion, and not just that, for your active discussion with our audience as well. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this morning, and we will see you again on Saturday, same time, 9 o'clock Texas time, 10 o'clock in the evening in the Philippines. And we will be having another guest on Saturday. And that will be a surprise topic. We will let you know the day before our podcast. So, again, thank you so much. And we are saying goodbye now.
Bye.